DePaul blew a 10-point lead, but hung on to beat Memphis State. UNLV advanced past Idaho. And today, they meet in the second round in the West region. So it's DePaul and the Running Rebels of UNLV. The winner moves on to Denver and the final Sweet 16, where Minnesota, Duke, Oklahoma, and Illinois have already advanced in their regions. And hello again, everybody. I'm Tim Brant with that All-American from Maryland, Len Elmore. And Lenny, how do you see this matchup between UNLV and DePaul?
Well, Tim, while both teams pride themselves on their defense, I look at some contrasting styles on offense. DePaul likes a tempo control game. The Running Rebels want to live up to their name. They like the breakneck pace up and down the court.
All right, Lenny, these two teams played in the very first game of the season. UNLV won that one by 9. This will be the very last game of the season for one of these clubs. These two schools have never met prior to this, and you see the success that DePaul has had, 4th straight year for Joey Myers. And UNLV has made 7 straight trips to the NCAA, 10 trips overall, and remarkably, they've been seated in the West all 10 years. The officials for today's game, Tib Higgins, Ed Hightower, and Sonny Holmes, all Big Ten crew, as they play the music from Jaws, that's UNLV's theme song. Set to begin the second round of the West. Opening tap controlled by DePaul. This is Terrence Green. DePaul dressed in blue. Price. And the Blue Demons are on the board first. Greg Anthony is the key for UNLV's offense. He'll run things up top. He's the showstopper. Inside they go to Butler, double O. His jump hook won't go. Rebound DePaul. Nice pass by Green and the dish underneath.
Well, Tim, so much for tempo control. DePaul right now seems to be attacking the basket, going after the big guys inside for UNLV.
Hamby's bucket makes it 4-0 DePaul. It's a man-to-man DePaul defense. This is Hunt. Inside to Scurry. And the Rebels are on the board. It's 4-2.
Running Rebels also like to get the ball inside. Moses Scurry was a 6th man at one time, but his job inside has now blossomed into being a starter.
Chucky Murphy pulls up for the jumper. Instead goes down low to Grundy, and Grundy loses it.
Grundy saw an awful lot of attention by UNLV. You know they're going to double him.
Nice pass underneath. The Rebs can't convert. Almost looked like Scurry and Ogman got tied up down low.
Now DePaul will probably go into the more or less tempo control. They're going to work the ball around a little bit.
Scurry got away from a foul. This is Anthony. And we're tied at 4.
UNLV's pressure right now is forcing Terrence Green to have to come out and help handle the ball. He likes to stay along the baseline and work, use his size advantage against other guards. But now he's got to come out and handle.
DePaul has 2 turnovers already. Blue Demons had 23 in the first game here in the West. Turn around, Grundy can't get it to go. Nice follow inside by Green.
And that's what Terrence Green likes to work. All of the guards for, at least the second guard positions for DePaul, are good offensive rebounders.
It's a 2-point Demon lead. Anthony to Hunt. Inside they go to Butler. Can't get it to go. Fight for the rebound. And a whistle and a foul. So Ogman will go to the line, and the foul will be on Curtis Price, I do believe. That's his first and the first team foul. Duke over West Virginia today, 70-63. Were you surprised at all at how sticky West Virginia was?
Well, West Virginia is a fundamentally sound team. They play good defense, but Duke is no match. I mean, they're no match for Duke inside.
Ogman hits the first one. Stacey Ogman is 6'7", 192-pound sophomore from Pasadena, California. The first sophomore to be named to the Big West Conference Player of the Year award in the history of the conference. Also honorable mention All-American, and he hits the second one.
If we get a chance to see Chucky Murphy handling the ball for DePaul. Now he's a walk-on freshman who's gotten the job as starting point guard in the NCAA tournament. He's the instinctive point guard on this team. He knows how to get the ball inside, how to distribute it to the players that need it, and also how to reset the offense.
Foul will be called on Ogman. That'll be his first. Interesting story with Murphy. He read in the paper where Strickland wasn't coming back, called Joey Meyer and said, "Coach, I want to play." Came on, as you mentioned, as a walk-on and did earn that scholarship. Look at Chucky Murphy. He's a 6', 155-pound freshman. Way outside. That not even close by Green, but he is fouled, and the foul will be on Greg Anthony. Terrence Green, a very emotional, animated player, majoring in liberal arts. One of the most remarkable athletes of our time, Jim Abbott, and Terrence Green played on the same team. Abbott now in camp with the Angels. They grew up together. Abbott played quarterback. Green was the receiver.
And Terrence Green told us that Jim Abbott is an inspiration to him. You know, it's one of those things that when a player sees that type of effort from another player, it makes you want to go out and work all the more harder.
And the 65% free throw shooter gives DePaul the lead by 1. 17-20 remaining in the first half. Tim Brant Len Elmore with you in Boise, Idaho.
Tim, the Running Rebels seem to be surprisingly disciplined right now on offense. They're moving the ball around with precision. Normally, they like to put it up if there's a bit of daylight. It's no good, but the foul will be on Chucky Murphy.
And Anderson Hunt will go to the line.
Chucky Murphy that time may have bailed out the jump shooter. It's one thing you don't want to do is foul the jump shooter. Now, I believe the reason the ball's brought to the side is because the foul may have occurred after the shot attempt.
Boy, it looked like he was in the air firing for me. This is Butler with a little jump hook power move. Fight for the rebound. It's DePaul's.
James Hamby on defense that time. Kept his ground, stayed on his feet. That's a matchup to watch. Butler versus Hamby inside.
Butler's 0 for 3 so far. Demons work the perimeter. This is Green inside. Went way too far under. And here come the Runnin' Rebels. Hunt for 3. Fight for the rebound. Ogman gets it back.
And that's more like the UNLV that we've seen. Get the ball up court by pushing it and hit the first guy. If he's got daylight, he's going to put it up.
Ogman for 3.
Versatile player, Stacey Ogman. He can hurt you inside and outside. At 6'7", he can play 3 positions out there on the floor.
9-7, UNLV, the first lead of the afternoon for the Runnin' Rebels. Murphy better give it up. He's in trouble. Nice pass to the left side to Ogman.
And that's the result of one of Joey Meyer's major worries, the fact that he's got a freshman point guard leading his team, and they're very susceptible to pressure. The kind that Anderson Hunt is putting on Chucky Murphy right now.
Joey Meyer is telling his team to settle down. UNLV's on a 7-1 run. This foul will be called on Greg Anthony. That's his second. Foster and Booth waiting to come in for DePaul. Price will go out, Murphy will go out, and Booth played a marvelous game Thursday night.
And Melvon Foster in the first meeting between these two teams back in November out in Maui had a whale of a game against UNLV. And I think Joey Meyer wants to bring Chucky Murphy particularly to the side because he's the point guard leading this team. He's telling him you got to slow down, control his tempo here. We don't want to get out of whack too early.
Inside to Brumby, and he gets the roll. That game you're talking about between UNLV and DePaul was the very first game of this year and the first time they ever met. This will be the very last game of the year for one of these clubs. The winner moves on to Denver in the final Sweet 16. Green with the turnover. The numbers are there. He penetrates. Can't convert it. Melvon Foster loses it out of bounds, and the Rebels will have the basketball.
And Tim, earlier during the week, we spoke with Terrence Green, and he says he likes to push the ball up, but his problem is in judgment. And that time was a pretty good shot. He just missed it.
Approaching the 15-minute mark, first half. Coming up later this afternoon, Clemson and Arizona. Anthony for 3. And it's 14-9, the Runnin' Rebels.
You see Melvon Foster calling out a play right now. DePaul's got to get back into offensive sync. They're not able to get the ball where they want because of the tremendous pressure outside by UNLV.
Brundy, nice move on the baseline.
Quick feet for Stanley Brundy. He's the guy, the senior that leads this team. As he goes, so goes DePaul.
Shot clock hadn't been a factor. Both teams have been pushing it up quickly. This is Anthony. It's for 3 if it goes. Brundy with the rebound. Turnover number 4 for DePaul. Ahead to Scurry.
And that's the problem DePaul faces. They miss a shot. They've got to be very balanced in getting back. Otherwise, UNLV will run it down their throats.
It's a 5-point lead for UNLV. It's a 12-4 run for the Rebs. Booth picks up his dribble, gets it over to Foster. DePaul really having a tough time with the pressure defense. Butler's fouled by Foster.
Melvin Foster with good penetration inside, missed the shot, and out of his frustration went after the rebounder.
That's his first. It is the 3rd team foul against DePaul. So with 13:43 remaining in the first half, it's a 5-point UNLV lead.
Most personal computers are like a 2-lane highway, which is fine until there's so much information, even important data gets stuck. But you can have more lanes for information in your system right now with an IBM invention called microchannel in many IBM Personal System 2 computers. It's putting an end to roadblocks and speed limits, so you'll be going places faster today and down the road. When you're thinking ahead, you're thinking IBM Personal System 2.
No matter what, it's a Geo.
New Geo.
Geo Prism's got class with 16-valve kick. Geo. In a roomy 4-door. Geo. Or 5-door. Geo is protected from bumper to bumper.
Oh.
And has a very smart price. Give us a call. Sold and serviced by select Chevrolet dealers.
No matter what.
American business can save millions of dollars every year with the UPS Next Day Air letter. Unlike other companies which frequently charge up to $14, UPS, because we're so efficient, charges only $8.50. And we guarantee overnight delivery to every address, coast to coast. The UPS Next Day Air letter, the super saver of overnight letters.
From Paris, the city of lights, the brightest new stars shine on ice. The World Figure Skating Championships, prime time, tonight.
Earlier today, Duke and Minnesota advanced to the Sweet 16. They'll play at the Meadowlands at East Rutherford. It was Duke 70, West Virginia 63. Fine game played by both clubs there. And Minnesota got by Siena, one of the favorite stories in this tournament. Virginia is beating Middle Tennessee State in the Southeast, and out in the Midwest, it's Louisville over Arkansas. So the Siena Saints go home. But they did get to play in front of fans 2 games after a long month of quiet. Ogden is fouled.
Tim, I believe Stacey Ogden got away with a little push-off against the freshman right there. Took it to the basket. Booth stayed with him, but he left his feet and the contact occurred.
That's the 4th team foul against DePaul. David Booth's first. And Ogden goes to the line. Ogden played with the U.S. Olympic team last summer in Seoul. California 4A High School Player of the Year in 1987.
We had a look at Joey Meyer just a moment ago, giving a push-off sign to the officials, so I believe he agrees with us.
You know, you can just watch Ogden, the way he handles the ball and the look on his face. You can see why they call him ice. 9 points, 2 rebounds. 18-11, the Runnin Rebs.
Paul's got to work on keeping a balanced floor.
Melvin Foster with the penetration.
Because after a basket, he push it up quickly over the front court.
Butler with the power move, can't get it to go. Fight for the rebound. And Brundy pulls it down. That's his 3rd rebound.
We see Terrence Green bringing the ball up the court, setting the offense. By balanced court, we've got the guards beat the ball down low. And when the shot is taken, they're on the boards. The big man instinctively crash the boards, and there's no one back.
Booth is fouled by Ackles. For George Ackles, that'll be his first. And the fourth team foul for UNLV.
George Ackles is a great shot blocker for UNLV. He usually leaves his feet very many times, whether it's a pump fake or not. It's something he's got to learn not to do. The good shot blockers are the ones who wait for the offensive player to commit himself.
David Booth is just a freshman, by far the most confident player on this squad. Misses the first one. Joey Meyer says if he continues to develop, the feeling is he'll be the next great scorer at DePaul. Right now, he doesn't understand defense, though, says Coach Meyer.
Well, he seems to play his best in the big games, in recent games against Notre Dame, Ohio State, and Louisville.
At one stage, DePaul was 10-9 this season. Joey Meyer called them all together and said, hey, listen, the freshmen have to step forward. The younger players have to step up and take some of the pressure off Terrence Green and some of the more older, experienced players. And guys like Booth have done that. They've won 11 of their last 13. Hunt pushing it against Green. Air ball. Rebound, Brundy.
Nice job by Terrence Green. Actually uses upper body strength to keep Anderson Hunt from penetrating.
Brundy now with 4 rebounds. This is Terrence Green.
Again, you see Terrence Green outside. He picked up his dribble and he's looking for an outlet. James Hamby came over, but a little late.
DePaul trailing by 4.
Now you see DePaul has made an adjustment. If Terrence Green goes low, Melvin Foster comes up high. And that balances the court for DePaul. It leaves a guard able to get back on the break. The kind of break that the Running Rebels love to run.
That foul is against Anderson Hunt. That's his first. UNLV has 5 team fouls. UNLV is not a strong shooting team. As a matter of fact, when you talk to Jerry Tarkanian, he says when we play well, we can play and beat anybody in the country. But we cannot score from the perimeter.
Well, they're a street shooting team. You've got guys like Clint Rossum, who's yet to come in, and you've got Greg Anthony and Anderson Hunt, who can really fill it up from outside, but they get on the streets.
Booth dribbles into trouble, throws up a prayer and hits it. That was a desperation shot, but it cuts the lead to 2. Brad Neiman is in for Terrence Green for DePaul.
Look how quickly the Running Rebels get the ball back right after that basket. Puts a lot of pressure on the defenses.
Butler working against Hamby, can't get it to go. Rebound Brundy, that's his 5th. Butler is 0 for 6.
DePaul's got Brad Neiman in the game right now. He's their designated three-point shooter. DePaul looking for some perimeter offense right now because UNLV is clogging up the middle. Stanley Brundy's not able to get the ball where he wants it.
Melvin Foster loses it out of bounds. Just dribbled it off his foot. You know, watching Booth, he's only 170 pounds, but he goes in with the big guys, and he's really quick off the floor. Reminds me of George Gervin.
Well, you know, he's so angular and slender. Maybe he figures he can cut and slash his way to the basket.
I don't think anybody's told him he's not supposed to be in there. UNLV with a 2-point lead.
In the man-to-man, you got Booth guarding Stacey Augmon, and that's a pretty good matchup. Stacey Augmon a little quicker.
Augmon walked with the ball. He wanted the foul, but the walk was prior to the slap.
Augmon kind of recognized that he may be a little quicker than Booth also. That's why he put it on the floor to take it to the basket.
Now, that's only the 2nd turnover for UNLV, and that could very well be one of our storylines in this ball game. DePaul does turn it over. As a matter of fact, until this tournament, DePaul had more turnovers than assists. They've only been positive in that category 3 times in 32 games.
DePaul with some ball handling problems. Melvin Foster unable to get the handle. And I'm going to look for Chucky Murphy to come in the game real soon. Got to get real settled here, DePaul.
Shot clock at 18. This is Brundy. Can't get it to go. Fight for the rebound. UNLV.
And that was just a product of confusion right now. And here's Chucky Murphy, just as we said, sitting there waiting to come in. Confusion on the DePaul offensive end.
Butler with a pump fake. Brundy slaps it away, but the foul is called on Brundy, I believe.
UNLV still happy to get the ball inside. Nice head fake inside. You see him set David Butler, then go up, gets Hamby off his feet. Brundy's there also. That's a good offensive move for a big guy, something that's fundamental.
The foul was on Hamby. And for Hamby, that's his first. It's the 15th foul against DePaul. Anthony goes out of the ball game for UNLV.
Anderson came in. Tim, you got Chucky Murphy in the game for DePaul. And I really believe sitting next to Joey Meyer is going to be Melvon Foster. He's going to be the backup point guard, and Murphy's out. And Joey Meyer is going to tell Melvon that you've got to run it. You've got to run the show, and you've got to be able to handle the ball.
Terrence Green, the senior, comes back in for the freshman David Booth. Butler gets a second try here. He's only a 61% free throw shooter. And the junior college All-American, the transfer to UNLV, makes the second one. 19-16.
The Diet Colas are at it again, taking pot shots at each other in their commercials. Well, in the interest of good taste, Diet 7-Up will not condone this sort of violence on television. Lighten up. Diet 7-Up.
With the designed-in sound of a Delco Electronics music system. Now the best seat in the house is in your GM car or truck. Delco Electronics, it's who we are.
Who says Chevy beats Ford? USAC tested Chevy's compact S10 with available Vortec V6 against 2 full-size Fords with standard 6 and available V8. 0 to 60, towing identical trailers. Chevy S10 beat both full-size Fords. That's pickup power.
And if a compact Chevy S10 with a V6 can out-accelerate a full-size Ford with a V8, imagine what it can do against Ford's little truck.
The heartbeat of America, that's today's Chevy truck.
If you've got yourself a car and you've got yourself a house, you could be on your way to some very nice savings. Because with Allstate Homeowners Insurance and an excellent driving record, you could save up to 15% on your auto insurance. And 15% could mean big money for all the important little things.
What a day.
What a day. The Allstate Auto Advantage. Another reason. A member of the Sears Financial Network.
The Big Ten is unbeaten. The Atlantic Coast Conference, only Georgia Tech has fallen by the wayside. And the Big East 3-2, although Georgetown, what a game with Princeton yesterday.
Well, I know John Thompson's got to give all the credit in the world to Petey Carrill and his team because they went out there and they battled them down the stretch to the last second.
It's 19-16, UNLV over DePaul. DePaul had a 4-0 lead, but then UNLV went on a 12-4 run. Their biggest lead was 18-11. DePaul hitting 58% from the field now. UNLV only 38%.
But the story, Tim, is when the DePaul turnovers.
That's not turnover number 6. This is Hunt.
Without those turnovers, DePaul might be in control rather than UNLV. On the other hand, UNLV, except for layups inside on the break, haven't been able to convert from the perimeter.
Joey Meyer, though, he expects those turnovers, and there's another one.
Poor pass by Chucky Murphy. That wasn't a good decision right there. When you get scored upon, you got to reset your offense if you're running, trying to control the tempo.
But you mentioned the story. That's 7 turnovers. Chucky Murphy, a walk-on, and a power move inside by Butler, and he's fouled.
Well, right now, David Butler may be a little too much for Stanley Brundy, who was guarding him on that particular play. You have an opportunity to see Stephen Howard guarding him on that time. He gambles on the pass. Brundy has to come over and help. And Brundy kind of tossed the ball away in disgust after that play because he recognizes that he's not getting there quick enough to help out, and Stephen Howard may be gambling a little too much.
The first personal on Stephen Howard, and Butler converts the three-point play.
Melvon
Foster comes back into the lineup for DePaul. David Booth also comes in. Murphy and Neiman will sit down. This is the biggest lead for UNLV.
And Joey Meyer going right away to a little more experienced guard, Melvon Foster, who's a sophomore. Chucky Murphy came down and made a mistake right away as soon as he got in the game. Maybe he didn't get the perspective Joey Meyer wanted him to when he had his rest on the bench.
24-16, UNLV. This is Terrence Green. Turnaround, gets the roll.
That's how a senior leads sometimes when a team is bogged down. Terrence Green takes it upon himself to get them back on the board.
Green is an Iron Man. He started 125 consecutive games for DePaul. 8:28 remaining in the first half. Inside to Butler. That's where UNLV's been going. Same result. The bucket and the foul.
Well, it's an excellent game plan by Jerry Tarkanian. Recognizing his team isn't really hitting from the perimeter, which is usually the game they like to play. They decided to play a controlled tempo when they can get a guy inside like Butler and get him the ball. That's the antidote to poor outside shooting, is get it to the big guys inside.
That's the second on Stephen Howard. He'll now sit down. Hamby comes back in for DePaul. That'll tell the story.
DePaul having problems getting back and turning the ball over and getting back after they turn the ball over. That's what's led them to this deficit.
The lead is 9. Green, the senior, keeping DePaul in the ball game. That's 7 now for Terrence Green.
Again, UNLV very deliberate. Still can't hit the perimeter shot.
Rebound, Hamby gets it out to Green. Booth on the baseline. Goes inside to Hamby. Hamby can't handle it and loses it. That's turnover number 8. They're mounting quickly. Good look at Joey Meyer in his 5th year. Since taking over for his dad, DePaul has made 5 straight NCAA appearances.
And the problem with that pass to James Hamby is that he really wasn't ready for it moving down the line. UNLV now has Barry Young in the game, and Barry Young from Ellicott City, Maryland is somewhat of a pure shooter. Mr. Instant Offense, he'll put it up if he has some daylight.
Young, Rossum, Hunt, Butler, and Ackles on the floor for UNLV, and Foster's going to be called for the push-off. Ray Meyer, Joey Meyer's dad, for so long, the head coach at DePaul, and for so long, so successful. Now, his dad has more career wins overall, but Joey Meyer, average-wise, is winning more games per season. David Butler, 6'10", 200-pound junior at the line. He now has 8 points, and he's 4 for 5 from the free throw line. Junior college All-American line, who was a major impact on this UNLV team this year.
Well, David Butler's having a fine game right now. On that last play, Melvon Foster pushed off when he got the rebound. And you look at the situation now where DePaul has got to stick the ball in the basket right now. They've got to let some people touch it, make other people threats. Here they are spreading their offense just a little more. Boom.
Rebound, Ackles. Nice pass to Butler with the jump stop, and he hits.
Now, you know David Butler has confidence. When you get a 6'10" guy pulling up on the jump shot on the fast break, he's got the feeling.
It's a 10-point lead for UNLV. Their biggest of the game. Booth with the bucket.
Smooth, very smooth by David Booth.
This is Young. Foster with the rebound. The numbers are there on the break. It's a 3-on-2, but instead of centering it, Booth drifts to the right.
That's a good job by the freshman. He knows that they can come down now and score. They've got some people with some hot hands. And rather than take a chance on the break, he's going to help reset the offense.
Despite the 7 turnovers and the 15 points scored against those turnovers, DePaul only trails by 8. So they're hanging in there.
But DePaul's shooting really well. Their problem is they're giving the ball up far too often to UNLV. UNLV is not getting great opportunity from the perimeter, but they've gotten a lot of their points on the transition to offense.
The foul was on Clint Rossum. Anthony and Scurry come into the ball game for UNLV. Scurry has 5 brothers and 3 sisters, Len, so he knows about depth charts.
And with Greg Anthony inside, you know they're going to put an awful lot of pressure on the DePaul guards. It seems as though the DePaul guards have now been able to run more of the offense, get into their patterns, whereas in the beginning of the game they weren't able to, and that part was due to the pressure from Greg Anthony on the DePaul guards.
That's the second on George Ackles. Runnin will get his first rest. Howard comes back in for DePaul.
Tim, you know, with all these substitutions now for the Running Rebels, it's interesting to point out that UNLV really doesn't have a man who plays more than 30 minutes. They've got a lot of people who are interchangeable and can play different positions, and that really, throughout the long season, helps out a team. Nobody will suffer from any fatigue.
We understand there have been some satellite problems, so those of you watching Louisville-Arkansas game with Brent and Billy at the Midwest region in Indianapolis, welcome to the West region. We're in Boise, Idaho, where UNLV leads DePaul 30-24. We'll try to get you squared away and get back to your game as soon as possible. But here we've got a pretty good ball game. We'll keep you up to date on the other one as it progresses. This is Anthony at the top of the key for UNLV, dressed in white, Hunt for three.
That's going to make it more difficult. UNLV has gotten their lead by getting the ball inside, something that may be a little uncharacteristic of them. And DePaul is giving them the ball an awful lot on turnovers.
DePaul has 8 turnovers. This is Green. That's 9 points for Green, and the seniors keeping DePaul alive. It's 33-26. Blue Demons switch back to a man defense now. Who forces what I thought was a turnover, but no, it'll be UNLV basketball. DePaul had a 4-0 lead, then UNLV went on a 12-4 run. Their biggest lead was 10. DePaul shooting 63%, UNLV only 43%. But it's not an outstanding perimeter shooting game. They've been going inside the Butler, and he's been successful down low for the Winning Reds.
And it's been those 8 DePaul turnovers that have led to double-figure points for UNLV. So you erase those mistakes, and DePaul is up.
Nice pass inside. Foster banks it in.
Can't say enough about Terrence Green, though. He's starting to step forward as a leader with offense and with moving the ball, unselfish play.
Tim Brant Len Elmore with you. Under 5 minutes to play in the first half. Backwards turnaround is good. UNLV leads by 7. The winner of this game moves on to Denver and the final Sweet 16. Booth with a tough shot and rolls it in.
Good matchup recognition right there. David Booth had Drake Anthony on him, and he knows he can shoot over little guard.
Anthony penetrates Howard with the rebound.
Green's got to recognize the numbers aren't in his favor.
But he scores and cuts the lead to 3.
That's one of those situations where Joey Meyer says, no, nice shot.
It's the kind of thing you used to hear from Lefty Drizel a lot.
I'll tell you what DePaul is doing right now. Rather than gamble, they're playing contained type of defense, and that's not allowing UNLV to get the ball into the areas that they like to shoot the jump shots. That's why they have to go inside to guys like Moses Scurry.
Moses Scurry was not to be denied that time. Didn't make the basket, but was fouled. And the foul is on Howard. That's Stephen Howard's 3rd personal.
And you see the DePaul defense, they're laying back off the perimeter, but that's also allowing the passer free reign to get the ball inside to Moses Scurry.
Moses Scurry, a 49% free throw shooter. Junior college transfer, majoring in communications.
And we're out west here in Boise, Idaho. And it's nice to see a native Brooklynite out here.
Update you on that game you were watching. It's a 5-point Louisville lead. And Virginia by 10 over Middle Tennessee State at halftime.
Talking about Moses Scurry being from Brooklyn, New York. You know what his nickname is?
What is it?
Windex. And I wonder why. Because he cleans the glass.
This is the second one. Not a good free throw shooter. We told you that. DePaul can cut the lead to 2. Inside, Brundy's fouled.
Now Stanley Brundy came in on that last exchange when Moses Scurry was on the free throw line. Joey Meyer recognizing he's got to get something to neutralize that inside game of UNLV. Brought Stanley Brundy in, and immediately the guards went to him.
DePaul, strong bench scoring. UNLV has not substituted that much, but the turnover factor has really hurt DePaul. The foul was on Moses Scurry. That's his first. Brundy at the line. He's got 4 points, but 6 rebounds. And he misses that one. He's only a 49% free throw shooter.
But again, you talk about a player who leads by example. He's a guy who comes to work every day, works hard on the boards. Many times he's outsized and outweighed, but he gets the job done.
He makes the second one. Brundy got a manicure the other day. The players are all over him for that. We'll be back.
You've seen those Chevy versus Ford tests, right? We came up with one of our own. Half-ton 4x4s, best available tires, driven at the same identical speed right through this 18-inch deep ditch. Now, this is a real control test, so don't you try it because you'll damage your truck. That's a Chevy with torsion bar suspension, and that's the Ford with twin traction beam suspension. And you can see why we've had a change of heart and pickups.
That's today's Chevy truck.
Yeah, just what I suspected. Got a bad power pump on 18.
All right, Dave.
So don't worry, we'll get you fixed up. It's our anniversary. Houston. You call my wife.
Wanna go right to rig 4 first, Dave?
Yeah. First thing I gotta do is get the drill bit out of the hole, pull up all the pipe, then we can see what's in there.
Sure, I'm glad you're here, Dave.
Al, yeah, I'm on United, flight 170 coming home. Osaka.
We are very happy. When you spend your life making things go smoothly for others,
Arigato. Thank you, Dave.
Arigato.
the least your airline can do is make things go smoothly for you. United. Rededicated to giving you the service you deserve.
Oh, it's my son's birthday, remember? Mm-hmm. Promise you won't call me.
Come fly the friendly skies.
Hey, Dave, thanks for coming down.
Sure, no problem.
Hi, sorry to interrupt. Quick question. Would you rather spend Monday night with him or with me?
Live in.
Think about it, mate.
Premieres Monday on CBS.
DePaul and UNLV playing for the right to move on to the final Sweet 16 in Denver. Arizona and Clemson coming up later today. That game will be seen in the West. Now, UNLV forced 8 turnovers early. DePaul turnovers led to 13 Rebel points. They built their biggest lead of the game at 30-20 with 7 minutes to go in the half. And led by Terrence Green's 11, DePaul came back on a 13-6 run. And right now it's 36-33. UNLV with 3:40 remaining in the first half. Tim Brant and Len Elmore with you in Boise, Idaho. UNLV in white. This is Hunt to Augment. Inside to Butler. Turnaround by Butler is good.
And UNLV's big guys, led by David Butler, have had their way inside all afternoon.
Butler now has 12 points. Greg Anthony loses it out of bounds. Almost had the steal.
Well, UNLV now wants to kick up the pressure. You see Jerry Tarkanian exhorting his team to keep up the pressure because DePaul is prone to turn the ball over. They've gotten 13 points off of turnovers. That's the way their offense has been generated other than getting it into the big men. Foster to Terrence Green, who penetrates, gets caught back over to Foster. Nice pass, and they convert. It's a 3-point UNLV lead. Anthony, nice pass inside to Butler. Oh, blocked away by Grundy. Quickness coming across the lane for the help side by Stanley Grundy.
They feed the lane to Grundy, and they're going to call a block. And Grundy will go to the line.
And you notice as soon as Stanley Grundy makes that play, he doesn't stand by and really admire it. Here, Grundy makes a nice anticipation move coming from the weak side to help out. Another angle all the way. Stanley Grundy was recognizing they were going to get the ball into David Butler. And after he gets possession and kicks it out for the break, he doesn't stand there and admire his play. He comes flying down the lane as a trailer and gets fouled.
That's the first foul on David Butler. Both teams over the limit. Grundy at the line, 5 points, 7 rebounds, and 1 block. And he makes that one. So he's 2 for 3 from the line. He came out of high school very unheralded. Nobody recruited him but DePaul and Weber State. He came into this program 190 pounds. Now he's close to 220. It's a 2-point Rebel lead with 2:35 remaining in the half.
UNLV again, grab it and come down court and pull up for the first open shot they get. They're working with a purpose, trying to get it inside to the big man. You see everyone take a look inside.
Ackles with a pull-up. Fight for the rebound. Augment will be called for the foul coming over Grundy's back. That's his second. Boy, Grundy gets such great position on the boards.
And he holds it, too. You look at him, as you say, he built himself up to over 200 pounds, and he holds that position very well, even against bigger and stronger guys.
Foster, Booth, Green, Hamby, and Grundy on the court for DePaul right now.
Had a look at Stacey Augment. He's trying to figure out how he can get started in this game. He's been relatively quiet.
Grundy has really struggled at the line. We mentioned he was a 49% free throw shooter. He's 2 for 4 today. And he makes that one. Cuts the lead to 1. We want to welcome those of you coming out to Boise, Idaho from the Louisville, Arkansas game. Tim Brant Len Elmore with you in Boise, Idaho, second round game. The winner of this game moves on to the Sweet 16 in Denver. It's 38-37, UNLV with 2:13 remaining in the half. This is Hamby with a rebound for DePaul. DePaul almost with the turnover. They do have the turnover. They're ninth in the first half. That's been the storyline. This is Hunt, and he can't convert.
Tim, with Terrence Green pulling the ball back outside, that's been the story of the game. DePaul shooting a nice field goal percentage, but they keep turning the ball over, giving it to the Rebels for added offensive chances. The Rebels come down on the other end, and they look inside to get it to their big men. They're not relying on the perimeter game that we've come to believe that UNLV wants.
Green can't get his shot to go. Ackles with the rebound out to Anthony. UNLV forced 9 early DePaul turnovers, led to 13 Rebel points. Biggest lead was 10. And Butler has been strong inside. That's his 14th point.
And as I said, UNLV has shed their reliance on the perimeter game because they found a star in the middle, and that's David Butler.
40-37 UNLV as we approach the 1-minute mark in the first half. Terrence Green's jumper backs it in.
And you can look at the DePaul offense, even if they're playing a controlled tempo part of the game, Terrence Green just gets impatient, and he knows that he can take it anytime he wants at this point.
Knocked out by Grundy, his second block. You mentioned Terrence Green. The senior has 13 points now, and he is keeping DePaul alive. Chucky Murphy checks back in for Foster.
You have an opportunity to see nice crossover dribble by Greg Anthony, but again, from the weak side, always cognizant of the weak side, is Stanley Brundy.
Green, Murphy, Price, Foster, and Hamby on the floor right now, along with Brundy. For DePaul. This is Butler. Quick move into the paint, and that one's blocked by Brundy. Outlet pass to Green. Tough move, but he's fouled by Hunt. That's Hunt's second. Both teams are over the limit.
Now, Tim.
UNLV, 7 of 12 from the line, but look at, or 9 for 12 rather. DePaul 7 of 12. 3-point shots not really a factor. UNLV with 3 of them. Points off the turnover. There is the story of the game, Len Elmore. 13 points off the turnover for UNLV. Green, 1 for 3 from the line now, 13 points. The winner of this game moves on to Denver and the final Sweet 16.
On that last shot, David Butler took a shot with about 35 seconds left on the shot clock. UNLV could have run the shot clock down and maybe not even allowed this shot by Terrence Green, or actually the foul on Terrence Green, and then the ultimate free throw.
They'll hold on to it. Newell comes in for DePaul. Hamby will get a break. The first tie since it was 6-6. Coming up at halftime, we'll take you to New York with Jim Nance and James Brown. They'll update you on all the scores and highlights around the NCAA tournament. We know already that Minnesota, Duke, Oklahoma, and Illinois have advanced to the final 16. The winner of this game goes to Denver. Butler with the turnaround. And that'll do it. The end of the first half. UNLV 40, DePaul 40. We'll go back to halftime now. James Brown and Jim Nance.
CBS Sports coverage of the NCAA Basketball Championship is sponsored by New Michelob Dry from Anheuser-Busch. GMAC, the official sponsor of America's Dreams. And by the Heartbeat of America, today's Chevrolet.
You hear the thunder, thunder.
You can see it in the way it looks. You can feel it in the way it drives. This is America's premier sports coupe, Grand Prix. And now is a great time to check out Grand Prix with GMAC financing as low as 4.9% or up to $1,600 cash back on select Grand Prix for qualified first-time buyers. See your dealer for details today.
L'annonce, mercredi The finance ministers of the 7 most prosperous Western nations met in Washington this week.
The world has become a global marketplace. Last year, Merrill Lynch helped corporations and governments raise $230 billion for building industries and creating opportunities. We're proud to have inspired that much trust. Merrill Lynch, a tradition of trust.
That nasty noise at it again. But Domino's Pizza is hot and fresh because it's delivered in 30 minutes or less, guaranteed. For hotter, fresher pizza, call Domino's Pizza. Nobody delivers better.
No bull. Bull, Worldwide Information Systems.
Wednesday, the action sizzles with high step and fast breaks and great grabs off the boards. Then, get ready for a slam dunk, in-your-face shot of adventure. Jake and the Fat Man follows Hard Time on Planet Earth Wednesday.
This is CBS.
All right, guys, lights out.
Okay, Coach. There's nothing more exciting than a fast break. To Pizza Hut for a great supreme deal where exceptional leaping ability and blazing speed both come into play in pursuit of Pizza Hut's Supreme Pizza loaded with 6 mouth-watering toppings.
Get 1 medium Supreme Pizza for $9.99 or 2 mediums for $13.99.
And that's a deal worth running out for.
Pizza Hut, making it great.
Kids aren't the only ones with drug and alcohol problems. Adults have them too.
Everyone needs to say no to drugs and alcohol, won't you?
Stay tuned for more coming your way from KINA-TV.
It's an amazing afternoon. Saturday, second round action, and welcome back to New York. Jim Nance along with James Brown. And James, a big story has just come in from Atlanta. It involves North Carolina's sensational player J.R. Reed. He has been suspended for the Tar Heels game tomorrow against UCLA for violating team curfews. Dean Smith says that should the Tar Heels be fortunate enough to get past UCLA and advance on to the Sweet 16, J.R. will be reinstated with the team at that point. However, he showed up a few minutes after 1 a.m. last night's team curfew and thus has been sent back home to Chapel Hill and will miss the game against the Bruins tomorrow. Now, Louisville and Arkansas, that game is just getting set to go to the second half at the Hoosier Dome, Midwest region action. Louisville putting on a spurt at the end of the first half, and Purvis Ellison has 18 points for the Cardinals as they lead over Arkansas 49-42, a game that pits a 4-seed Louisville against a 5-seed Arkansas. In other action that's taking place, this is from the Southeast, Middle Tennessee State trailing Virginia now by 8 as they have just started the second half in Nashville. Steve Zabriskie and Curry Kirkpatrick are calling the action for us there in Nashville. Let's pick up early second half action. Virginia, Middle Tennessee State.
Steve Zabriskie and Curry Kirkpatrick at the Southeast region in Nashville. A 10-point Virginia lead in the early moments of the second half. 51-41. Terry Hammond's underneath for Middle Tennessee State.
They need to get their inside players involved. Middle Tennessee, they've got strength and size on Virginia. They'd like to get it inside and make baskets like that.
Brent Gabbs. And Stiff with the rebound underneath, fouled underneath by Mike Buck. The story of the game, the field goal percentage shooting in the first half. Free throw shooting has been outstanding. And, of course, Richard Morgan for Virginia with 18 points to lead all scorers.
Brian Stiff on the free throw line for Virginia. We keep talking about his fundamentals. He is a vicious offensive rebounder. He broke the Virginia record for offensive rebound this season. Of course, that does not include Ralph Sampson. I don't think they were keeping that number then.
Earlier, Oklahoma beat Louisiana Tech 124-81.
But Brian Stiff has over 100 offensive rebounds this season, Steve. I don't think there are many players in the country that can say that.
The two by Stiff. move it back to a 10-point Virginia lead. Rainey double team, gets down the lane and hangs. What a shot by Chris Rainey. He has really come on fire the last few minutes of the first half and here in the second half. John Crotty returns the favor. Virginia with Dabbs, Blunden, Crotty, Stiff, and Morgan. Hammonds now with 14 as they're both filling it up. Blunden inside, goes down, no foul, Hammonds to rebound. Gerald Harris driving all the way.
Hammonds made that possible. Terrific defensive rebound and outlet pass from Kerry Hammonds.
Down to a 6-point lead. Gerald Harris's first 2 points of the day.
That's the first time he shot the ball as well, Steve.
Matt Blunden. 2 in the lane for Blunden. He has 4. 57-49 Virginia. Harris inside for Henry, knocked away by Dabbs, and the foul will be on Brent Dabbs. Dabbs' third personal foul.
And early in the half, Middle Tennessee trying to get the ball down low to Henry and Hammonds. They're 2 big players inside.
Jeff Daniel, number 44, a 6'9" junior, replaces Dabbs. Nope, Blunden. In fact, and so did Dabbs think that he was going out of the game, but it's Matt Blunden who comes out.
Well, as we mentioned, Matt Blunden, a high school All-American at quarterback, plays quarterback for Virginia, is being sacked by Kerry Hammonds, and that's why he's on the bench.
Tipped away, but controlled by Harris. Mike Buck in and out, and he has been just as cold as he was hot Thursday night against Florida State, and Middle Tennessee came back. Offensive foul, no basket. Hammonds goes to the floor and draws the offensive foul.
And the earth shook when he went down.
This is a 5.4 on the record.
Watch Hammonds. He just sets himself, and it's Gibraltar. Forget about it.
Foul on Stiff. First personal on Bryant Stiff. And in the game for Virginia, back in Matt Blunden. This time, Brent Dabbs does.
Oh, boy. How did you like the foul there by Hammonds? Do you think anyone could have really knocked him down, James?
Hammonds fell because he wanted to. There's no way they could have pushed him over.
You know, don't give up on Middle Tennessee State. This team came back from 17 down in the second half against Florida State on Thursday and scored the last 21 points of that game to win it and advance on to this point. Now only down 8. James, what about the action already complete today?
All right, in the Midwest region, a top seed there, Illinois looked impressive, knocking off Ball State 72-62. Nick Anderson with 24 points. They now will play the winner of Arkansas, Louisville. In the Southeast region, Oklahoma had its swagger back, its confidence back, and Mookie Blaylock, who scored 34 points. They blasted Louisiana Tech 124-81. Minnesota will now move on to play Duke. Clem Haskins doing an excellent job there, ending the Cinderella season of Siena 80-67. And in the East region, of course, I mentioned they will meet Duke. Duke University, a 7-point winner over a quicker West Virginia team. Duke was better from the free throw line. And some close action in women's play. Iowa eked out a 2-point victory over Tennessee Tech, 77-75. And K-Yow's North Carolina State team, again, a 2-point margin there over Rutgers, 75-73, the final score there.
All right, James, kudos to Coach K at Duke, his 200th win as the coach of the Blue Devils with that victory today. Let's set the lineup for tomorrow, another triple-header day here on CBS. All of the nation will see Notre Dame against Georgetown. Action from Providence, 12 noon Eastern, we get started. Then at 2 o'clock Eastern, we have 4 games on tap. Some of you will see North Carolina State against Iowa, Texas, Missouri, South Alabama against Michigan, and Evansville goes against Seton Hall. Then at about 4:30 Eastern time, UTEP faces Indiana. That's from Tucson. UCLA against North Carolina, and Colorado State against Syracuse. That's the action on tap for tomorrow. Right now, we're getting set to take you back to Boise, the capital city of Idaho. We'll take you there for the second half in just a moment.
You may know some people who use drugs to have fun or think that they have to drink too much to have a good time at parties. Maybe that description fits some of your friends. Those friends then may put pressure on you to use drugs and alcohol for recreation. The pressure can be tough to handle, but remember, no one can force you to take drugs or force you to get drunk. Think for yourself. Keep control of your own life.
This message furnished by the NCAA.
The words higher education bring to mind images of books and classrooms, of scientists and laboratories. But a college or university education consists of much more than just classrooms and tests. During my university years, I met people from many different cultures and countries. I heard new ideas and opinions. I acquired experience. Experience in and out of the classroom. Experience in setting and achieving goals, in cooperating with other people, in making decisions. Well, that experience has served me well throughout my entire life and career. A college or a university education can enhance all facets of life. It can be a priceless treasure.
This message furnished by the NCAA.
Cutting angle. DePaul outscored UNLV 20-10 down the last 7 minutes. We're tied at the half at 40. And hello again, everybody. I'm Tim Brant, along with Len Elmore. Lenny, your impressions of that first half.
Well, before we get into that, Tim, a lot of people don't realize that you and I went to the University of Maryland together. And I went back to the archives and dusted off some real old pictures. And I wanted to show everyone the real Tim Brant.
I can tell you this, we didn't miss many training tables on that team. Hey, I'll tell you what, though. I remember you as a player, and you guys hardly ever ate, but you won a lot more than we did. Look at Tommy McMillan, how thin he is, and big number 41, the All-American, Len Elmore.
Kind of looks like my little brother, though, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Tell us about that first half very quickly.
For more, coming your way from KINA TV channel.
CBS Sports coverage of the NCAA Basketball Championship is sponsored by U.S. Armed Forces. It's a great place to start. Rolaids Antacid. Relief. You know how to spell it. And by AT&T, the right choice.
DePaul has shot very well, 70%, but their 9 turnovers led to 15 UNLV points. Then, as I mentioned, DePaul ran off a 20-10 run. The last 7 minutes were tied at 40. And Len Elmore, what does DePaul have to do here to stay on top of that game with UNLV?
Well, there's no doubt about it. You cut down on the turnovers, from which they've given up 15 points. They've outshot UNLV. They've out-rebounded them. You cut down on those turnovers, and DePaul is up by a lot.
DePaul is 19-1 when shooting 50% or better. Right now, they're shooting above that mark. This is Butler.
UNLV playing uncharacteristically a pattern, slow-tempo game, getting it inside.
Altman penetrates, can't get it to go. Scurry with the follow. Fight for the rebound. Grundy, jump ball, and possession arrow belongs to the Blue Demons.
Well, what UNLV is doing is getting into a nice motion type of offense. Again, recognizing they've had great success inside and looking inside. And if they miss the shot, they're going after the offensive boards.
Just underway in the second half. Tim Brant and Len Elmore with you in Boise, Idaho. Second round West Region. Curtis Price to Foster. Nice reverse layup. Can't get it to go off the glass. And Butler pulls the rebound.
Well, the false pattern type of offense really kind of misfired.
And the foul. The foul is on Hamby. That'll be his second. First team foul of the second half. If you're just joining us, Minnesota, Duke, Oklahoma, Illinois have all advanced to the Sweet 16. The winner of this game between UNLV and DePaul will move on to Denver and the final Sweet 16.
Tim, if you look at UNLV when they run their offense, it seems as though they're trying to lull DePaul asleep. Occasionally they'll come down, they'll set up, run a pattern type offense to get it into the big guys. Then all of a sudden they'll get the ball off of a turnover, push it up court, hit the first guy who gets open. And a lot of times that guy's getting open underneath because DePaul is slow in getting back.
Coach K beat West Virginia this afternoon. You see that score. 9 points for Scurry. And he hits the second one. It's a 2-point Rebel lead.
You notice Melvin Foster handling the ball to start the second half. You may figure Joey Meyer thinks that it might be too much to have a freshman point guard handling outfit.
Great pass from Green to Hamby. And we're tied.
And that's why Chucky Murphy is on the bench, the freshman point guard for DePaul.
Augman penetrates. Can't get it to go. Hamby with another rebound. Rebound Story. Just so they won't think we're mispronouncing Melvin Foster's name. His dad is Melvin. It is Melvin Foster playing in this game.
We just had a look at Chucky Murphy looking on from the bench. Again, he's going to be back in the game, I'm sure, but he's got to watch and see what's going on here.
The whistle and the foul is called on Grundy. That'll be his first. Second team foul.
DePaul having a lot of difficulty in keeping people off the boards. The UNLV guys are going after it when they miss, and it's probably because they anticipate missing. They haven't been shooting very well from the perimeter.
So Moses Scurry goes to the line. He's a 6'7", 205-pound junior from Brooklyn, New York. Junior college transfer, majored in communications, and he now has 8 points and 4 rebounds. Tonight at 8 o'clock, the World Figure Skating Championships, men's and ladies finals, with Tim Ryan, Scott Hamilton, and Pat O'Brien in Paris, the City of Lights. Don't miss that. That's always fun to watch. 44-42, UNLV.
See Terrence Green walking it up right now. DePaul again is going to play pattern. They want to play close to the vest, but get Terrence Green penetrating again, trying to take the game over.
UNLV wanted the walk. The whistle and the foul was called before the traveling.
It's something that Terrence Green probably will get a little reprimand from Joey Meyer for, because there really wasn't an opening and he was pretty much bailed out there.
More importantly, Len, the foul is on Greg Anthony, and that is his third, and he is a key in the Runnin Rebels offense.
Well, you see his defensive prowess. It was demonstrated right there. He ran through 2 picks to go out there and deflect that ball. He's got quick feet, loves to pressure the ball, and he's very important, as you say, to the Running Rebels defense.
Green penetrates, shoots, and scores.
Well, you can see Terrence Green, knowing that he's got smaller guards on him all day, figures that at any point in time he can take the shot because he's got the advantage.
We're tied at 44. UNLV has the basketball. As you look at Tark, he hasn't had the talent since he arrived in Boise, Idaho. The winningest active coach by percentage in the nation, winning 82% of his games over 21 years. Again.
There it is.
Finally found a way.
Mentioning blocked shots, 7 for Louisville in this game and none by Arkansas.
So Whitby in the game, maybe Nolan Richardson figured he could get a 3 out of him because he's going to have to get some perimeter shooting somehow.
Here's Ellison again.
Well, some great interior passing by Louisville today. Everybody looking for that open man and good movement.
Mayberry grabs it back and it is stolen away by Sullivan.
Got to be a hit ahead here. Williams had the numbers and didn't drive it to the center.
Spencer comes down for the layup.
Jim Nantz back in New York and with Louisville leading by 18. Of course, we'll keep you posted on this game. Let's get a taste of what's happening in Boise between DePaul and UNLV. Early second half, all tied at 44. Tim Brant and Len Elmore have the action.
I want to welcome those of you who have been watching the Louisville-Arkansas game out in the Midwest region in Indianapolis with Brent and Billy. Louisville with the big lead there. We're in Boise, Idaho with 16:34 remaining in the game. And the Runnin' Rebels of UNLV are tied with the Blue Demons. UNLV 65% from the field. They shot 70% in the first half. They're 19-1 when they shoot 50% or better. But the story, Len Elmore, has been turnovers. Turnovers by DePaul.
And in the first half, DePaul did give up an awful lot of points on turnovers. Here in the second half, though, beginning the second half, it's been all on Terrence Green's shoulders. He's been handling the ball an awful lot, and he's recognized the advantage he has over the smaller guards of UNLV, and he's been taking it to the basket.
The Runnin' Rebels built a 10-point first half lead. Then DePaul outscored UNLV in the last 7 minutes of the first half, 20-10. Right now, it's 46-44 Rebels.
And although Chucky Green, who is the point guard for the team, is back in the game, it's still Terrence Green who's handling it because he's now got a better feel for what's happening. If a shot is open, he's going to take it.
David Booth off balance, can't get his shot to go in. 3-on-1, Butler. 48-44. And Joey Meyer wants to talk things over. It's a young, unsettled team. He doesn't want them to fall behind with 16 minutes remaining.
Beating the Honda Prelude could be a challenge, but look at it this way. This sporty Mazda MX-6 beats it by over $2,500. Its warranty covers you for an additional 14,000 miles. MX-6 has far more room inside. I mean, right now it comes with $750 cash back from Mazda. How's that for a good reason to make the move to Mazda?
See your local Mazda dealer today and get $750 cash back on MX-6.
You're looking sharp, you're looking good, you've come so far, and we know how to make the most of who you are, father to son, it's what we've always done. Gillette.
The Gillette Atra Plus system with the Lubra Smooth Strip for the best a man can get.
He's got our flashlight. Over there.
Good monkey. But Ed said Bud Light.
If you want the one light that outshines them all, ask for Bud Light, because everything else is just a light.
So hard to get good help.
A win, and you go on. A loss, and you go home. March Madness on CBS Sports.
And one of the problems experienced by DePaul today is the fact that they really don't have anybody back in transition. Here you see Chucky Murphy, the only person back. You've got four DePaul guys still back in the backcourt. And now, nice play by Greg Anthony in forcing Chucky Murphy to commit himself, and he dishes off to David Butler for the dunk. DePaul has got to get back. They're giving up too many easy baskets on turnovers and failure in transition. Otherwise, they'd be ahead.
Louisville leading Arkansas. The winner of that game moves on to play Illinois. That's in the Midwest region, taking place in Indianapolis. This is Murphy. His shot is short. DePaul now 2 for 6 after shooting 70% in the first half. Hunt can't get his to go down. Scurry can't hit. Augman with the turnaround jumper, and he's fouled.
Give a lot of credit to the Windex man. He swept the boards on that one. Moses Scurry got down really quickly, even though DePaul, after the timeout, I'm sure made the adjustment and got people back. After Scurry keeps the ball alive, it gets out to Augman, who takes a shot which is fairly off balance for him. But again, he's such a versatile player. There's an awful lot he can do from inside and from outside, as we saw.
The foul was on David Booth. That's his second. You see the numbers with Stacey Augman. Now, UNLV is just 2 for 12 from the field after shooting only 39% in the first half. Augman can't convert the three-point play. The rebound goes to Booth.
See Chucky Murphy out of the game right now. He's just having a tough day, and it's a really tough day for a freshman in an NCAA tournament game.
Nice pass to Scurry, and he's fouled by Booth.
Joey Meyer has got to be disgusted right now. He cannot get his players back on transition. Booth goes after the ball. He's slow getting back, and here's Scurry waiting for the pass inside.
It's 52-44 Rebels with 15:28 remaining. The free throw story. UNLV on an 8-0 run over the last 4 minutes. David Butler, who missed his first 6 shots, has now hit 6 of his last 8. This is Curtis Price, and he walks.
Well, DePaul now, they're experiencing a failure of execution. You can see on the first play, the guard came off of James Hamby, but he never even took his man to Hamby for the pick. And that way the defense stayed upon him and created the pressure.
But this is nothing unusual for DePaul. 23 turnovers in the first game in this region. Right now they have 13.
DePaul, recognizing the difficulty they've been having in containing people inside, and now running somewhat of a 3-2 zone inside.
Inside to Butler, and he's fouled. DePaul beat Memphis State. Almost lost a 10-point lead down the stretch. Finally won that game at the foul line. And UNLV survived a slowdown game with Idaho. So it's DePaul and UNLV, the winner, to move on to Denver. Arizona and Clemson coming up later this afternoon in this doubleheader for the West Coast. So we want to advise those people to stay with us. We'll be bringing that game to you out west. Right now, it's 52-44. UNLV with 14:55 remaining in the ball game. Butler, 16 points, 4 for 6 from the line. He's a 6'10", 200-pound junior from Washington, D.C. as the Clemson Tigers dressed early and looking on. That game coming up, we mentioned.
Dale Davis for Clemson, the big fella. He looks to do a lot of damage today against Arizona.
It's a 10-point UNLV lead with 14 in the ball game. That ties the Runnin Rebels' biggest lead of the afternoon. Another turnover. Anderson scores and is fouled. Anthony with the easy layup, and he'll go to the line.
It's a tough call on Stephen Howard. He does a good job of getting back after the steal by Greg Anthony, but you wonder where the foul occurred. See, Howard again is the only one back. Good speed for a big guy. He swings at the ball, and from the official's angle, it looked as though he touched him, but I don't know.
For Stephen Howard of DePaul, that's his 4th personal. The lead is 12.
At UPS, we're changing the look of the international delivery business. Because now, UPS delivers to every country in Western Europe, the Pacific Rim, Down Under, and Canada. And because we're so efficient, we can deliver your international parcels and documents for fewer francs, yen, or drachmas than other companies charge. An accomplishment we feel deserves a little flag waving. UPS, we run the tightest ship in the shipping business.
Looking for a great truck or a great truck deal needn't be a challenge. Mazda trucks have been rated the most reliable truck sold in America. The Mazda warranty is the best in the truck business. And right now, you can really clean up. With $750 cash back from Mazda on all our trucks. $750 in cold, hard, wet cash.
See your local Mazda dealer today and get $750 cash back on all trucks.
If you really care how many people have switched from this to this, this to that, and that to this, 19 million people have switched their position on Diet 7-Up from this to this. Lighten up. Diet 7-Up.
I had to try this to believe it. Denerex tingles. Tells me it's doing more. Selsun Blue, no tingle.
Both Denerex and regular Selsun Blue have dandruff medicine, but Denerex adds an extra anti-itch medicine.
So long, Selsun Blue. Hello, Denerex.
In Indianapolis at the Midwest region, Louisville leads Arkansas by 15 points. Illinois has already advanced to the final 16, and they go on now to Minneapolis, the final 16. There's the score, 76-61. Here, it's 56-44, UNLV. score was 44-44 with 17:50 to go. And since that, Vegas on a 12-0 run. Howard has 4 personal fouls, and Anthony can't hit the free throw.
That's really going to hurt his effectiveness on both ends, particularly on the offensive end where he likes to put the ball on the floor and has a nice touch from the top.
Howard is a tremendous story. He has the best grade point average on the team. He's a computer science major and carries his PC with him on the road. Howard to Price. Green penetrates. They need a bucket badly. And the blocking foul will be called against UNLV. Scurry's second.
That's good penetration by Terrence Green. He sees Stanley Brundy right underneath and a nice dish off. And good judgment by Terrence Green. That's one of the things he worried about, whether he could make the play and make a good decision when he has the ball in penetration. That time he did it well.
That's only the second team foul against UNLV this half. DePaul is already over the limit. Howard, air ball. Grundy with the rebound. Great save. Foster to Green. Green can't get it to go, and the foul will be called against UNLV.
Well, this time David Butler tried to step in. Last time it was Moses Scurry. This time David Butler. But again, a good job. First of all, a little piece of the ball there maybe by Scurry. Nice save by Brundy outside. And here to drive, nice penetration by Foster to Green. Draws the defender towards him, makes him commit himself, and then he takes it to the basket. Pretty tough call. You wonder if Butler's feet were both on the ground, because Green is entitled to that spot unless Butler's there.
That was Butler's second personal. Green now has 17 points, 5 assists. Terrence Green was recruited heavily by Michigan State to play football, and if the NBA doesn't work out, he may try an NFL camp. He's that good. Parade Magazine All-American and both MVP in Michigan for football.
Well, in the last 2 possessions, he shed 2 tacklers, so they should be pretty happy about his moves.
56-46 with 13:50 remaining in the game. Green will be called for the reach-in. That's his first.
Terrence Green could only know what was going on behind him. One of the problems Stacey Augmon had was he wanted to go inside to David Butler, but Stephen Howard, despite having 4 fouls, did a nice job of jumping in front of Butler, and that threw the timing of that play off. Had Terrence Green known that, he wouldn't have gambled and reached.
Stacey Augmon, the sophomore, goes to the line with 11.7 rebounds. He's 4 for 5 from the line today. First sophomore ever to be named Big West Conference Player of the Year. He's majoring in social work at UNLV. His nickname is Ice.
I tell you, you wonder if Ice is tired. Here's a guy who, as soon as the season ended, started to get in shape for the Olympic trials, made the Olympic team. This is the season last year. Made the Olympic team, played all year, came back to school, started their program, and he's here playing in the NCAA in the middle of March. That's an awful lot of basketball.
Foster with the rebound and the reach-in foul. They get Anthony. If it is, it's his 4th.
Number 50, Greg Anthony.
It is his 4th personal on Anthony. Virginia trying to move on against Oklahoma. 87-75 in the second half. The Cavaliers lead. They've been strong since Terry Holland has come back out of the hospital with a stomach disorder.
And for UNLV right now, Greg Anthony with 4 fouls is really going to put pressure on the defenders on the back line. He's not going to be able to gamble as much for his team. That's what's created the turnovers and gotten DePaul to give up the ball for them. He's going to have to back off just a bit.
Shot clock at 18. Still no hurry for DePaul. Dangerous pass to Brundy. And another turnover for the Blue Demons ahead to Hunt. And it's a 59-46 lead, their biggest of the game. Under 13 minutes to play. DePaul needs a run badly. Foster, yes.
Melvon Foster recognizing the guards having some problems guarding him. He's going to take it to the basket.
Nice pass by Anthony to Butler. They're making it look easy now.
But both teams are getting strung out, so to speak, leaving people on both ends of the floor when there's a change of possession.
20 points now for Butler. He's been virtually unstoppable in the middle against DePaul. George Ackles comes in, Anthony goes out, and Stacy Cianovich comes in. Scurry will also get a break. Well, Cianovich has got an awful lot of experience. He's the only member of the UNLV team from the Final Four team of a couple years ago. And Eccles is in there to really take up some room in the middle and block some shots. He's the eraser for that team. Cianovich almost made the steal. And Howard is fouled. Stacy Cianovich, Lenny, is the only player on the UNLV roster who remains from the Final Four team. And that says a lot for experience out there. He knows what's going on. He had an opportunity to play a little bit there. And he's in more or less to settle the team down and also to give Greg Anthony a breather. Greg Anthony has 4 fouls, and this is a good time for a guy like Stacy Cianovich to really get out and pressure Greg Foster. That was the 3rd foul on Anderson Hunt, another whistle, and this time it's going to be called on Foster. Melvin Foster just had difficulty getting loose here. And you see Greg Anthony sitting on the bench getting a blow. But Melvin Foster recognizing that maybe he's got somebody that he can use and Stacy Cianovich on him, this time pushes off and trying to get open. That's the 3rd on Foster, so he is now in some danger. 12 minutes, 19 seconds remain. It's 61-48 UNLV. The winner goes on to Denver. James Hamby comes back into the ball game for DePaul, and Howard will get a break. Cianovich at the line for UNLV. Cianovich, 60% free throw shooter. And he hits that one. He's majoring in hotel management, and what better place to do it than in Las Vegas? Well, Stacy Cianovich has put in an awful lot of meritorious service for UNLV running Rebels, and I'm sure his name is pretty well known. Go a long way. Can't drop the second one. Grundy gets another rebound. Let's take a look at DePaul. Again, they're going to start running some type of pattern right here. Hamby in the game for Howard. They're going to use him more or less as a hub to move the ball around, but Terrence Green is the guy that they're looking for. Man-to-man defense by the Rebs. 12 minutes exactly remaining in the ball game. Rebound Butler. Cianovich will try to push it up, and Foster's nailed with his 4th. Things are starting to fall apart now for the Demons. Well, you can see the anxiety level kind of peak a little bit for DePaul. You got Melvin Foster, who steps in and really gambles. In this instance, a nice shot by Foster. He gets open. Good block out here by George Eccles, and David Butler comes up with the rebound nicely. But on the other end, as the ball was advanced, Melvin Foster gambled and did something he probably shouldn't have. He's got to play solid defense right now. Chucky Murphy comes back in, replacing Foster. Neiman also goes out, and David Booth comes back in for DePaul. Cianovich converts. It's Terrence Green, Chucky Murphy, David Booth, Hamby, and Grundy on the floor right now for DePaul. Cianovich extends the lead. 64-48 Rebels. It's a 20-4 run over the last 6 minutes for UNLV. Booth. Nice soft touch. An excellent recognition of what's going on with Stacy Cianovich on Big David Booth. They recognize they had an advantage, and you notice how nicely Booth handled the ball against the guard. Arkansas closing the gap on Louisville a little bit. Green with a rebound. He'll push it up quickly and score. Good strong move by Terrence Green. And what's happening now is UNLV is getting away from their original game plan of getting the ball inside to their big people. They're taking some ill-advised shots from outside. And DePaul is capitalizing by going quickly on transitioned offense. DePaul goes back to the zone. It's a 12-point Rebel lead. Inside to Stacey Augmon. Stacey Augmon snuck behind James Hamby that time in the corner, and nobody could guard him on the baseline. Augmon now has 14 points. Still plenty of time for DePaul. This is David Booth at the top of the key. To Green, who fires for 3, not even close. Rebound Augmon. Terrence has got to put the ball on the floor. He's quicker than Stacy Cianovich. Creates something by putting it on the floor and
forcing the help out.
Green has 16 points, but his last 3 shots have not even been close. Cianovich to Augment to Hunt. Hunt had a notion Booth got in his face.
Good patience exhibited against the zone by UNLV.
Shot clock at 20. Ackles. Pretty reverse layup.
But Tim, that whole play seemed to be in slow motion. Not only did Stacy Cianovich not know whether he wanted to pass the ball off or not, but the DePaul players didn't know whether they wanted to come up and guard.
Joey Meyer seen enough. The Rebs have outscored DePaul 22-6 over the last 7 minutes. We've got 9:55 remaining in the ballgame.
Ellen, look at this.
What's that, Dad?
It's a record of a Northwestern Mutual policy your mother and I took out on you when you were born. This is the face value now.
Wow, it's almost tripled.
Not bad, huh?
Gosh, I didn't know life insurance policies grew like that.
Well, Northwestern Mutual sure have. That's because for the last 50 years, they've ranked #1 in dividend performance more times than any other company.
That's good news for us.
But not for Northwestern Mutual's competition.
That's for sure.
Once again, the automotive world is focusing on Mercedes-Benz because the engineers who created the 190 class and a whole new automotive category have just recreated it.
Give me 2,000 1 second.
Introducing the Mercedes-Benz 190 class, the second generation.
No bull. Worldwide information systems.
If your car pulls to one side, let Midas check your alignment. At Midas, trained professionals with the latest technology align your car right. You see, we're serious about safety. Hey, nobody beats Midas. Nobody.
We're in Boise, Idaho, where the people here could not have been more gracious, more congenial. They have simply been sensational. Earlier today, you may have seen Leslie Visser's story on what marvelous hosts they are in Boise, home of 5 Fortune 500 companies. And, well, their JR at Idaho is J.R. Simplot. They call him the Potato King. They say there are more millionaires per capita here than any state in the country. Awfully nice folks. 68-52. Runnin Rebels with 9:45 remaining in the ball game. David Booth with the penetration, and he scores.
Again, recognizing Stacy Cianovich, who's 6'3". David Booth, 6'7", takes him to the basket. That's something that DePaul is going to have to do, exploit those individual matchups.
14-point UNLV lead. Cianovich. And a whistle away from the basketball. It'll be called on Butler. And that'll be his third for David Butler of UNLV.
David Butler has resisted the temptation of really mixing it up inside, except on offense. He's now got 3 fouls. It's going to slow down maybe his attempts to clog up the middle.
That's only the 6th team foul against UNLV. Don't forget, later tonight, 8 o'clock Eastern time, the World Figure Skating Championships, men's and ladies finals. Tim Bryan, Scott Hamilton, Pat O'Brien, they're all in Paris, the City of Lights, and that'll be a fun show to watch. That's tonight, 8 o'clock on CBS. Murphy fights for the ball, can't get it. This is Hunt. 8:55 remaining in the ball game. UNLV in control.
It's good recognition by UNLV. They didn't have the advantage break, so they pulled it back out. They're in control right now. They can get it into the big guys to get a shot or get fouled.
Butler has it blocked by Hamby, and that'll be his third. DePaul has only 1 timeout remaining.
And when you're down this much, you can't allow the ball to enter the post that easily. Terrence Green didn't get back in time to help out, and David Butler had a clear path to the middle. Goes up to the basket strong, and James Hamby and a number of people kind of clobbered him a bit.
Butler, 20 points, 5 rebounds. He's 6 for 8 at the line this afternoon. And he gets that one to roll in. Tarkanian with the towel yet in this tournament, although the towel is close by. It's under his seat. He's been just using his hands and rubbing his head. Look, he hadn't gone to it, Len. It's all nicely folded and fresh right out of the hotel room. UNLV 22 of 31 at the line. This is Murphy. DePaul's got to get things going here. They've got to change the tempo. Green with the score.
Excellent pass by David Booth. Even though he had Stacy Sianovich beaten, UNLV players came up to help out. Nice dish off by David Booth. Real fine, instinctive play.
We were tied at 40 at the half. DePaul was shooting 70% from the field, but turning the ball over way too much. Now, with 8:05 remaining in the ball game, it's 69 to 56, UNLV.
Much better job in the post by Hamby that time on Butler.
The winner of this game moves on to Denver.
That's the place where they want David Booth to have the ball so he can work against Stacy Sianovich. David Booth with the jumper. Get the ball in the middle. It takes away from the help side, and Booth can work without having any trouble.
24-second controversy.
Minnesota, Duke, Oklahoma, Illinois, they're all in. They're still alive. Moving on to the final 16. The winner of this game will join them.
Look at the battle inside between Butler and James Hamby. Hamby recognizing if he seals off Butler, he's hurt the UNLV defense. Offense, I should say.
This is Stacy Augman at the top of the...
All right, so Boise, Idaho, DePaul, and UNLV, and it's an 11-point lead right now for the Runnin' Rebels. We're inside of 2 minutes in the Southeast region at Nashville, and Virginia has a 13-point lead. Let's rejoin Steve Zabriskie and Curry Kirkpatrick.
Game 2 of the second round of the Southeast region here in Nashville winding down. 1:25 remaining in the game. Virginia in command as Middle Tennessee State has made a number of runs at the Cavaliers, but they lead now by 14 in the final 2 minutes of play.
Well, this Virginia team, as you can see, Morgan with 31, their star, the tremendous liftoff, jumps like an astronaut. And this team, Steve, has reminded me a lot of the Virginia team that went to the Final Four in '84 with the perimeter play of Crotty and Morgan. Of course, that team, led by Othell Wilson and Rick Carlisle, made it all the way to the Final Four in Seattle.
Morgan and Crotty have definitely been the story for Virginia. Crotty with a career-high 25 as Buck is fouled by Kenny Turner. Third personal on Turner, 1:20 remaining on the game clock. And Mike Buck, who was the big story for Middle Tennessee in their comeback victory over Florida State, 0 for 4 from the field in this one, goes to the line.
Well, on a disappointed Middle Tennessee bench, but Bruce Stewart, a terrific young coach, has had his teams in postseason play for 9 consecutive years in the junior college ranks, in the NAIA in the last 5 years at Middle Tennessee.
Bryant Stiff, the fine freshman, back in, replacing Matt Blunden for Virginia. Buck, an 85% free throw shooter, knocks the first one down. His first point of the day.
Mike Buck will never forget that game against Florida State, Steve. 26 points the other night. His season ending on a low, but what a high the other night.
He'll carry that regardless of if he ever makes another appearance. Buck now fouling very quickly. Bryant Stiff stopping the clock with 1:10 remaining. Buck's third personal. And Stiff will go to the line with Virginia leading by 13.
Looking ahead, Virginia will now play Oklahoma in Lexington, Kentucky in the regional last year. And if revenge is any motivation at all, last season Oklahoma played Virginia in a tournament in Hawaii and beat the Cavaliers 109 to 61, 48 points. One of the most embarrassing defeats in Virginia history.
All right, and as Curry Kirkpatrick was noting, Virginia just was blown out last year by Oklahoma. Those two will be squaring off in the Sweet 16. 8 players from each team remain on the squad, so they'll be going back in action in the next round. Let's now take you back to the Hoosier Dome. Final minutes, Louisville and Arkansas.
Welcome now, those of you who just just joined us. Arkansas desperately trying to get back in this one. They have possession. Bowers short. The rebound by Mayberry, who comes up. And it is finally tapped in for the Razorbacks. They are back to within 10 and 102. And with that three-point shot, you're not quite yet out of it if they can force a couple of quick turnovers here.
Well, Brent, Louisville not looking to go to the hoop. And what's happening, Arkansas is sending 5 guys to the boards. They're going to foul now.
Off the rim. Here come the Razorbacks.
Freshman mistakes.
Bowers drops it off, and Mayberry penetrates for the field goal. It's an 8-point game at 34 seconds.
Got to commit fouls the rest of the way. Not against this young man. Bradford Smith has had some great streaks from that foul line. Last year shot up in the high 80s, this year in the low 80s.
24 points for Bradford Smith here this afternoon.
As big a game as Purvis Ellison had, this young man may have been really the key. As when Ellison sat down, he came up with the big shots.
Put those 3 shots on the left baseline, which was so important to the success of the Louisville Cardinals here this afternoon.
And Brenny distributed the ball very well, too, throughout the course of this game.
Back to 10 with 28 seconds remaining.
Sullivan out, Holden in. Get a little bit more rebounding.
So it begins to wind down now, and a young Arkansas team. And for Louisville, they're going to move on. They can miss some jams, can't they?
That's the second time today we've seen a player elevate himself so high he missed a dunk. The other one was Kenny Battles in the first game, remember? He just got up so high. You know, the kid high jumped 6'10" as a junior in high school.
And they'll see each other next Friday night in Minneapolis.
Oh, that was a downtown bomb.
Brings it back to within 7. And they foul with 4 ticks left on the clock.
Well, we talked about Ball State being a team that's extremely young that we can expect to see back in the heat of things in college basketball next year. This Arkansas team will be another one. Very young, but very, very talented.
So the number 1 seed and the number 4 seed will move on in the Midwest region. Neither of the 2 top seeds here have been upset. And tomorrow in the Midwest, down in Dallas, the number 2 seed Syracuse will take on Colorado State, and number 3 Missouri matched against Texas. And then the winners there also will move on to Minneapolis. Meanwhile, Duke and Minnesota are headed to the Meadowlands in New Jersey, where they will play each other. Georgetown Notre Dame winner and the North Carolina State Iowa winner, they too will go on to East Rutherford, New Jersey.
And Brent, when you talk about the potential of the foursome getting to Minneapolis, that regional had 4 teams that, in my opinion, at one point in this season had to be considered the best teams in the country. You talk about Syracuse, the great run they had early on, Missouri, the great run that they had in midseason. This Louisville club in January had to be considered the best, and of course the Illinois team we just saw. So, you know, 4 real top-notch teams if they all are fortunate enough to get there.
What you're saying is we've got a mini Final Four
exactly
brewing if form holds, and we should underline if, because in that first round 12 favorites were beaten outright, and certainly Texas will have the crowd going for it against Missouri, and Colorado State will tempo Syracuse.
Exactly. They'll have the tempo going for them.
Louisville moves on. Denny Crum, who's had such great success. He's the only coach to make 4 Final Four appearances in the 80s. This is his 15th NCAA tournament. Now 31-13, 6 Final Fours, 2 titles. And Billy, he's the only Metro team left.
That's right. They get blitzed out. And you know, he now pushes his mark above 70% wins in NCAA competition. Bobby Knight at 75% wins.
Louisville Louisville reemerges in my mind as a power, James. We saw the same thing happen earlier today to Oklahoma, a team that had been down, had been sluggish in tournament play, the Big Eight. Back comes Oklahoma, and on strong comes Louisville with that 9-point win against Arkansas. Boy, what a matchup that's going to be, Louisville and Illinois.
Well, in the wee hours of the morning, you predicted that Louisville would go all the way. LeBranford Smith, a real key there, a good point guard, but he has not been consistent from the outside. I think that was a big difference in today's game.
All right, Arkansas, a good young team with Lee Mayberry, RFD, the Razorback floor director. He's coming back for 3 more years for Coach Nolan Richardson. All right, out in Boise, UNLV is leading by 14. Let's go to Tim Brant out there with that action.
Welcome to Boise, Idaho. Tim Brant and Len Elmore with you at the West Region. DePaul and UNLV playing for the right to move on to Denver, the final 16. Right now with 3:42 remaining in the ball game, it's 76-62, the Runnin Rebels. Now, when you look at the game summary, DePaul has shot very well throughout this ball game. As a matter of fact, they're shooting 59%, but DePaul has also turned the ball over 16 times, and that's killed them, and UNLV has the lead.
And on the other end of the turnover scale, UNLV has turned the ball over only 3 times. And protecting the ball like that and getting opportunities really helps you get to a lead.
Not only the turnovers, Len Elmore, but they've turned into 25 UNLV points.
Well, DePaul's really got to put some pressure on UNLV right now. Cover all the shooting areas for the perimeter shots and double team the ball when it goes inside. They've got to create turnovers or allow UNLV 1 shot only.
DePaul ended the first half with a 20-10 run. They need that now. This is Greg Anthony drifting to the corner. He'll reset the offense. 14 on the shot clock. Running Rebels dressed in white.
Running their offense are really wearing down the DePaul defenders. They can't play defense that long.
With 3 on the shot clock, Butler scores his 23rd point.
On offense, look for DePaul. They've got to go inside, play a little inside-outside. Throw it into Brundy and Howard. If they're double team, push it back outside for the 3-point shot.
Green is fouled by Scurry inside. For Scurry, that'll be his 3rd personal. And Jerry Tarkanian has picked up the towel for the first time in the West Region. Didn't use it at all the other night against Idaho.
He recognizes that he's not out of the woods yet in this particular game. DePaul's got some explosive players like Terrence Green. But again, they still continue. They must continue to go inside on these guys and make sure that they get the ball, at least an opportunity at the basket each time down.
Green, 26 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. And he hits that one, so he's 5 for 7 from the line. DePaul has 1 timeout remaining. UNLV has 2. There's 2:40 remaining in the ball game.
Looks for the Running Rebels right now to milk the clock, take as much time as they can before putting the ball up, unless they get an easy layup.
78-63 Rebels. And this foul is going to be called on Brad Neiman. They're in a 1-on-1 situation.
You see Brad Neiman right there. They're going to have to foul, DePaul is. They're going to have to foul after playing defense for about 20 seconds. This is the wrong guy to foul, though. Greg Anthony is about a 70% shooter. You look on the floor and you wonder who can be fouled, and Moses Scurry comes to mind because he shoots 49%, but he's not going to get his hands on it.
Hunt misses that one. Nice pass by Green to Grundy, and he's fouled. Anderson Hunt just got caught underneath there. That's his 4th personal.
Well, this is what DePaul has to do. They've got to come down quickly and get a quick look inside to try to get some baskets, some quick baskets and easy baskets underneath, and maybe even draw the foul. It's a shame for DePaul that Grundy couldn't get the ball up to the basket.
Stanley Brundy is a 49% free throw shooter. He's born and raised in New Orleans, where he grew up with Perry McDonald of Georgetown. Then he moved to LA's Crenshaw High School, where he played with Stevie Thompson, who plays with Syracuse. He's got 7 points, 14 rebounds. He's only 3 for 7 at the line as you look at Joey Meyer.
He's got to tell his young players that, we're not out of this yet, but it's getting pretty close to it. Keep up the effort here.
It's a 14-point UNLV lead with 2:12 remaining in the ballgame.
With the great ball handlers UNLV has, this is a tough assignment right here to try to force some turnovers. You got some guys who are quick and who really handle the ball well. You're right up and foul more times than not.
That's the 4th team foul, or the 4th personal, rather. 2 minutes and 2 seconds remain. UNLV in command and about to move on to Denver. They're at the ticket counter right now, and they almost have that ticket to the final Sweet 16. Minnesota, Duke, Oklahoma, Illinois, now Louisville, they're all in the final 16. Augment, 15 points, 8 rebounds now. As you look at the dejected bench, that'll tell the story of the game. Want to welcome those of you to Boise, Idaho that have been watching other games. We've got 2 minutes, 2 seconds remaining here in the West region. UNLV in control over DePaul, leading 80-64. We were tied at 40 at the half. But UNLV, 16 turnovers turned into 27 points for the Runnin' Rebels, and now they're in command and about to move on to Denver and join the final 16. You look at the brackets, DePaul, UNLV about to move on. The game to follow this, Clemson and Arizona. That's for the Pacific time zone only. Tim Brant Len Elmore with you at the Pavilion at Boise State University.
UNLV has been able to capitalize inside after recognizing they've had a poor perimeter game, and David Butler has come through with a big game for them. The center has scored numerous points inside after getting nice entry passes. DePaul, on the other hand, as you mentioned, has given up an awful lot of points on turnovers, but they shot well.
DePaul takes its final timeout. DePaul 11 for 18 at the free throw line. UNLV shooting well there as well, but the turnover factor has been paramount. Look at the bottom line. 16 turnovers for DePaul. That's turned into 27 points for the Runnin' Rebels. Timeouts remaining. DePaul has none. UNLV has 2. Len Elmore, talk about DePaul and what shot they have with 1:46 remaining in the ballgame.
Well, you know the old saying, slim and none. They do have a shot. If you wind up getting the ball inside and getting quick shots. They have to get possession of the ball on the other end, and that is fouling, because UNLV is going to wind up holding the ball and they're going to milk the clock. You foul guys like Moses Scurry, who's shooting 49%. Get the ball back, come down with a quick shot, get it in, maybe even a three-point play. If not, spot up on the three-point area, and you've really got to fire from three-point area.
For UNLV, Stacey Augment has 16 points. David Butler, 23. Moses Scurry, 13. Greg Anthony, 10. So it's been balanced scoring. For DePaul, it has been the senior, Terrence Green, with 27 points, keeping DePaul alive. Although that door is rapidly closing on the Blue Demons. 1:46 remains. It's 80-66 UNLV.
You see DePaul set up in full court, man-to-man pressure, and what they're going to have to do is at least let the ball play defense and let the ball at least get over half court trying to steal it. But once it gets over half court, look for some fouls to occur.
Green makes the foul in the front court, and that'll be the second on Green.
So I think sometimes, since they are playing man-to-man, maybe you have to foul. If you play a zone situation in a full-court sense, you've got to at least give the zone an opportunity to work.
David Booth comes back in for DePaul. Curtis Price will sit down. Anthony goes to the line with 10 points and 5 assists. Anthony can't get it to go. Rebound, DePaul.
Got to push it up for quick shots now. They can't dilly-dally with passing it.
Green takes it in the lane, shoots left-handed. Augment with the rebound. UNLV just playing to run the clock down now as we approach 1:25.
Melvon Foster, they've got a foul right here.
Terrence Green with the foul, that'll be his third.
Melvon Foster had an opportunity to foul and maybe save some valuable seconds, but he neglected to do it.
Look at Joey Meyer in his 5th year. Gone to the NCAA's 5 straight years. DePaul has averaged 24 wins the last 12 seasons. Percentage-wise, these are the 2 of the winningest teams in the country. They rank among the top 4, with North Carolina and Georgetown being the other 2. Anthony 0 for 2 at the line, 10 points. And he misses that one. This is Green. Nice pass inside to Grundy.
Now you got to turn around and pick up your men, you can't run back to half court. You've got to get them before they get the ball in bounds.
That cuts the lead to 12 as we approach the 1-minute mark. UNLV spreads the floor. Better be careful, Len, for the intentional foul. Green was just reaching out and grabbing.
Well, you got to go after the ball, but what happens is if you don't pick them up early, you've got little guys like Greg Anthony and Anderson Hunt who handle the ball really well. Little water bugs that scoot around, you'll never be able to catch them.
That foul is on Booth, and that is called intentional, I believe. It is. That's the 4th personal against Booth.
And that's about as serene as you'll see Jerry Tarkanian right now. He knows he's in control of this ball game.
So it'll be a 2-shot foul in the ball. Intentional on David Booth. Booth, 6'7", 170-pound freshman from Peoria, Illinois. By far the most confident player on the DePaul squad. And Stacey Augmon will go to the line. Augmon played with the U.S. Olympic team last summer in Seoul. He was the California 4A High School Player of the Year in '87, and he makes that one. A 67% free throw shooter. He has 17 points, and he's 8 for 10 from the free throw line. And Tark shows us the first smile of the region. This is Tarkanian. I think she's getting ready to go to Denver. 45 seconds remain. The Rebels are going to the final Sweet 16. Already in Minnesota, Duke, Oklahoma, Illinois, and Louisville. As the clock goes down, Len Elmore, the question is, how will UNLV do against either Arizona or Clemson?
Well, UNLV today has exhibited an inside game, something you don't normally attribute to the types of teams that Jerry Tarkanian's had before. They're usually a run-and-gun perimeter shooting team with great offensive rebounders. But David Butler has given Arizona or Clemson an awful lot to think about. When he gets the ball inside, he's got a nose for the basket, and he showed that today.
Melvin Foster fouls out with 10 points. And UNLV moves on. They'll play the winner of Arizona-Clemson, which is up next. That game can be seen in the Pacific time zones only. And they'll meet next Thursday night in Denver. Clint Rossum in now for UNLV. This time Green fouls. And that'll be his 4th. And it'll be 1-1. Well, Joey Meyer told us about his young team. It got off to a slow start. He called everybody together when they were 10-9, told the younger kids to take a bigger role. They did. They won 11 of their last 13, and they got to the 2nd round here. Following in the tradition of his dad, Ray Meyer, who was so successful at DePaul. He's now working the radio broadcast.
Well, you got to think that Joey Meyer, while he doesn't like to be in this position, he's probably shared some of these feelings, the good times and the bad times, with his dad. And recognizing he's got such a young team, he's got to be proud of the way they've played over the last 10 or 12 games here. They've really shown that they've got some determination here.
Green scores at the other end. But the Runnin Rebels will get their 28th win of the year. They lost in the 2nd round to Iowa last year. They'll move on to the Sweet 16 this season.
David Butler's just about doing it all today. A little ball handling clinic out there.
That'll do it. The end of the game. The University of Nevada, Las Vegas moves on 85-70 over the Demons. They move to Denver.
Professor Kranz?
Yes?
Look at this remarkable example of life insurance dividend performance.
Northwestern Mutual. That's my company.
You'd think since they've been ranked #1 more times than any other company for the last 50 years, they'd be more vocal about it.
Play the 7-Up final match game. All the excitement of college basketball. Every 5 seconds, someone's bottle cap can instantly score free 7-Up or the chance to win $10,000 if they match that final championship winning score. Hurry and take your shot.
Astronomers tell us there won't be a total eclipse in America until the year 2017. They are very much mistaken. This is the year of the eclipse. Introducing the Eclipse GS Turbo by Mitsubishi. Try not to stare.
In places beyond the reach of other overnight delivery companies, you'll find UPS. Because unlike the competition, only UPS Next Day Air guarantees delivery overnight to every single address coast to coast. And because we're so efficient, we can do it for up to half what other companies charge, whether the place is hard to reach or easy to reach. UPS, we run the tightest ship in the shipping business.
You know what? My dad bought a new car. So did mine. My dad got a V8. My dad got a V12. My dad got a sunroof. My dad got a convertible. My dad got a CD player. My dad got a car phone. My dad got Michelin. Michelin? Well, my mom's prettier than your mom.
Michelin, because so much is riding on your tires.
How do you figure your financial future? How do you get an advantage? Look for an edge. Look for a company that can sharpen your opportunities in mutual funds, pensions, IRAs, employee benefit plans, insurance, and much more. Look for the Principal Edge from the Principal Financial Group, one of America's largest, helping people with the fund.